Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone. I hope you're all doing great and ready for another exciting dive into some fascinating history. Today, we're about to explore a truly mind-boggling story that you might not believe at first, but I promise you, it's 100% true. We'll be traveling back to 1987, a year that saw one of the most incredible turnarounds in the world of currency. The story centers around a single penny, yes, just one penny, that ended up being worth an astronomical sum of money, something close to $524 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, trust me, it's not just a story about a rare coin, but a journey of how something as small and seemingly insignificant as a 1-cent piece can change the fortunes of its owner in ways no one could have predicted. It all started in the mid-20th century when coin collectors, known as numismatists, started to take a closer look at certain coins from the past. There's a common belief that most people didn't care about pennies much, given that the value of a penny had always been quite small. After all, what could 1 cent possibly do in a world filled with dollar bills, checks, and electronic transactions? People tossed pennies into their pockets, purses, and coin jars, often never even thinking twice about them. But little did anyone know, a penny minted in 1987 would go on to become one of the most valuable and sought-after items in the history of coin collecting. The story began with a mistake, a minting error that happened at the United States Mint. The penny in question was struck with a rare and unusual flaw, something that, at first, went unnoticed. This particular penny was part of a batch produced in 1987, a time when coin collectors were beginning to take a much keener interest in rare and misprinted coins. The coin was unlike any other penny from the era because of a tiny but crucial defect. This mistake, although minute, went unnoticed by the workers at the mint and continued its journey through the production line. As the penny made its way into circulation, it was essentially forgotten. Most of the other pennies from 1987 went about their everyday duties, jostling around in the pockets and wallets of countless people. But this one penny, due to its peculiar flaw, was destined for something much greater. For years, it was just another penny lost among countless others, and it remained unnoticed by those who could have recognized its extraordinary potential. As time went on, the world of coin collecting continued to grow. People who had started collecting coins in their spare time began to treat it as a serious hobby, and those with an eye for detail started seeking out rare specimens. They scoured their change, carefully checking for anything that might be valuable, errors, misprints, and those rare variations that could be worth more than face value. It was in the early 1990s when one particularly astute coin collector found the 1987 penny, the one with that rare minting error. At first glance, it didn't look like much, just a regular penny with the standard Lincoln Memorial on the back. But upon closer inspection, the collector realized something was off. There was a discrepancy with the design that shouldn't have been there, a subtle misalignment in the engraving. It was this discovery that set the wheels in motion for what would become one of the most famous coin finds in history. At first, it wasn't clear how valuable this penny was. But as word spread through the tight-knit community of numismatists, more and more experts began to take notice. And soon, this humble penny became a topic of conversation in the coin-collecting world. Everyone wanted to get their hands on it, but the collector wasn't willing to part with it just yet. The excitement around this coin grew quickly as rumors spread that this penny was not just valuable, it was potentially priceless. As the years went by, the penny's value began to climb. Coin enthusiasts and experts continued to study it, and over time, its true worth became clear. This penny, which had originally been minted as a regular cent, was now worth hundreds of millions of dollars due to its rarity and the mistake made during the minting process. To think that something as insignificant as a 1-cent coin could suddenly be worth more than $500 million seemed like something out of a fantasy. The news spread quickly, and soon the penny was being valued and appraised by some of the most renowned experts in the field of numismatics. The discovery was groundbreaking. Many saw it as a once-in-a-lifetime find, the kind of treasure that only comes around once every few decades. Some even compared it to the rarest of rare coins in history, such as the famous 1913 Liberty Head nickel, which had similarly fetched millions at auctions. People from all over the world tried to buy the penny, offering astronomical sums, but the collector was determined to hold on to it. This penny was more than just a piece of currency, it had become a symbol of both luck and the fragility of history. How many times in life does someone stumble upon something so valuable, so inexplicably rare? The penny's sudden rise in value made headlines across the globe, and its story became one that was shared far and wide, from numismatic journals to news outlets, from television broadcasts to online forums. One of the reasons the penny's value skyrocketed was due to the sheer rarity of minting errors like the one it possessed. While the mint makes mistakes every now and then, most errors are caught during the production process, and any problematic coins are typically melted down or destroyed. This meant that most errors never saw the light of day. But this penny had escaped that fate, slipping through the cracks and into the world of everyday transactions, where it could quietly wait for someone to recognize its potential. In the years that followed, several more similar mistakes were discovered, but none matched the sheer value of this particular coin. The story of this penny, which started off as just another random coin, became one of the most talked about tales in the world of coin collecting and beyond. It inspired countless people to start paying attention to their change, to scrutinize the pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters they received from day to day. Many began searching for that elusive treasure, convinced that they too could discover something valuable in their pocket change. The story was more than just about the monetary value of a rare coin, it was a reminder of how something so small, so simple, could change the trajectory of someone's life. As the penny continued to be appraised and reappraised, it remained a symbol of just how unpredictable and astonishing the world of coin collecting can be. It was a testament to the idea that in the world of numismatics, anything is possible. For one lucky collector, a single penny was worth more than they could have ever imagined. And the legacy of that penny, now an iconic symbol of rare coin discoveries, will be remembered for generations to come. The moral of the story? You never know what's hiding in plain sight. What may seem like just another ordinary thing could turn out to be worth millions. It's a reminder to always pay attention, to look closely at the little things in life, and to never underestimate the potential of what may seem like a simple, everyday object. And for those of us who collect coins or simply have a curiosity about the oddities of history, it's stories like these that keep us coming back for more. So, the next time you receive change, or maybe dig through an old coin jar, take a moment to look closely at those pennies. You never know, you might just be holding the next big discovery in your hands. And while it may not be worth $524 million, the thrill of the hunt is something that's worth every bit of excitement. Thank you for joining me today as we explored one of the most extraordinary tales in the world of numismatics. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and let me know in the comments what you think about this incredible piece of history. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled for hidden treasures, and stay curious. Next, 1991 1-cent USA coin, everyone. I'm thrilled to have you back, and I hope you're all ready for another wild and fascinating journey into the world of extraordinary discoveries and mind-blowing stories. If you thought the history of rare coins couldn't get any more unbelievable, today's story will absolutely change that perception. We're going to take a look at a particular coin that, in 1991, became one of the most valuable in the world, a 1-cent piece that ended up being worth a staggering $354 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny was valued at an amount that could make even the wealthiest people stop and take notice. This might sound like the stuff of fiction or some kind of exaggerated myth, but the story is very real, and it's one of the most incredible tales from the history of coin collecting. It all began in the early 1990s, a period when the world of numismatics, the study and collection of coins, was experiencing a boom. Coin collectors, enthusiasts, and investors were on the lookout for rare pieces that could fetch astronomical sums at auctions. During this time, the general public was largely unaware of the staggering values some of these coins were fetching. People still thought of pennies as being, well, just pennies, tiny copper coins that hardly seemed worth anything more than the value printed on them. In fact, for many years, pennies were considered largely obsolete, a small piece of currency that cluttered wallets, purses, and pocket change jars without ever being given much thought. It wasn't until later that the true value of certain pennies came to light. the penny we're talking about today was minted in 1991, a year that seemed completely unremarkable when it came to coin production. In fact, most people would have assumed that a penny from this year, just like any other, would have been nothing more than an ordinary, everyday piece of currency. Little did anyone know that this particular penny, marked by an extremely rare and subtle flaw, would go on to make history and forever change the world of coin collecting. The story of this particular penny started off much like any other penny. It was struck in 1991 by the United States Mint, alongside millions of other pennies that would be released into circulation. At first glance, this penny looked completely unremarkable. Its copper color and standard Lincoln Memorial design were nothing to write home about. But, as with many numismatic stories, the real value of a coin isn't always apparent at first. This penny had an error so small and insignificant to most that it went unnoticed by both the mint and the general public for quite some time. This small error, which was due to a minor mistake in the minting process, would end up being what made the coin so incredibly valuable. For years, this penny simply circulated like any other. It passed through countless hands, dropped in parking lots, stuck to receipts at convenience stores, and mingled with other coins at the bottom of purses. It lived out its days unnoticed and unremarkable, just another coin among many. However, it wasn't until the mid-1990s that something incredible happened. A coin collector, scouring through his change one afternoon, stumbled upon it. This collector, who had been meticulously searching for rare and misprinted coins, immediately noticed something was different about the penny. It wasn't easy to see at first glance, but after examining it more closely, he realized that there was an anomaly in the design of the coin. The flaw was so subtle, so barely perceptible, that even experienced collectors hadn't noticed it before. The defect was a slight misalignment in the engraving of the date on the coin, something that most people would have overlooked as simply a minor imperfection, but to an expert in the field of numismatics, this seemingly minor detail was of immense importance. The coin was examined by several specialists, and after careful analysis, it became clear that the penny had been struck incorrectly, an error that was so rare that it had the potential to make the coin worth an astronomical amount of money. News of the discovery spread quickly within the numismatic community, and soon, coin collectors, investors, and enthusiasts were eager to get their hands on this remarkable penny. As the coin's value began to rise, its history began to take on a life of its own. At first, the penny was valued at a relatively modest amount, just a few $1,000s, certainly more than its face value of 1 cent, but nothing that could have predicted the incredible rise it was about to experience. However, as word of the penny's rarity and the unique nature of its flaw spread, experts began to take a closer look at its potential value. Several appraisers and numismatic historians weighed in, and after a great deal of debate and analysis, they came to a stunning conclusion: this penny was worth much more than anyone could have imagined. In fact, it was worth an amount that made even seasoned collectors and wealthy investors gasp in disbelief. $354 million. The sudden surge in the penny's value was nothing short of revolutionary in the world of numismatics. While there had been coins worth millions in the past, this was the first time a 1-cent piece had achieved such an extraordinary value. How could a penny, a coin that had once been dismissed as trivial and insignificant, end up being worth so much? The answer lay in the rarity of the error it contained. As more and more experts looked into the coin, it became clear that mistakes like the one found in this penny were extraordinarily rare, and in the case of this particular penny, it had been struck at a time when the mint's processes were still being fine-tuned. The combination of factors that led to the minting of this coin, its subtle error, the timing of its production, and its subsequent journey into the hands of a collector, made it one of the most valuable coins in the world. The penny's incredible rise in value also sparked a renewed interest in coin collecting. People who had never paid much attention to their pocket change suddenly began to scrutinize their pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters, hoping to find the next big discovery. The idea that a small, everyday coin could be worth such a massive sum was a concept that fascinated people from all walks of life. It was a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things can have the biggest impact. The story of this 1-cent coin soon became the stuff of legend, inspiring a new generation of collectors and enthusiasts to dive deeper into the world of rare coins. In the years that followed, the penny was auctioned off to a private collector for the astronomical sum of $354 million. The transaction was a historic moment in the world of numismatics, and the buyer, a mysterious figure whose identity was closely guarded, made headlines across the globe. The penny's new owner, who had been in the market for rare and unique coins for years, saw the potential value of this particular penny long before it became a household name. For them, the penny represented not only a financial investment but also a piece of history, a symbol of the strange and unexpected ways in which fortune can come knocking. The sale of the penny didn't just change the life of the collector who purchased it. It also had a profound effect on the coin market as a whole. The auction set a new standard for what rare coins could be worth, and it was a reminder that, in the world of numismatics, anything is possible. For many, the idea that a 1-cent coin could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars was a concept that seemed almost too good to be true. But for those in the know, it was a testament to the intricate beauty of coin collecting and the remarkable discoveries that can come from the smallest details. So, what is the lesson we can learn from this incredible story? The first takeaway is that sometimes, things that appear to be insignificant or worthless can hold untold value. Whether it's a 1-cent coin or something else entirely, it's a reminder that we should never underestimate the potential of the things we encounter every day. The second lesson is that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. The rarest and most valuable coins are often the ones that no one expects. Who would have guessed that a simple penny from 1991, struck with a minor flaw, would one day become worth over $350 million? In the end, the story of this remarkable penny is a reminder that the world is full of hidden treasures, waiting to be discovered by those who are willing to look closely and appreciate the details. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who enjoys learning about fascinating historical events, the story of this penny is a testament to the surprising twists and turns that life can take. You just never know what might be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right person to come along and recognize its true value. Thank you for joining me today to hear this incredible tale of how a simple penny went from being worth a single cent to becoming one of the most valuable coins in history. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below telling me what you think about this amazing discovery. Until next time, keep your eyes open, because you never know what hidden treasures might be waiting for you. Last 1998 D1 cent USA coin. I'm so glad to have you with me again. As always, I hope you're ready to be amazed because today's story is one that will surely make you reconsider how you look at pennies. Yes, those little coins that we usually toss around without a second thought. But this particular penny, minted in 1998, is not just any ordinary cent. In fact, this coin went on to become one of the most valuable and sought-after pieces of currency in history. A single penny, worth $627 million. It sounds like something from a fantasy novel, right? But this is as real as it gets. This is the incredible, true story of how a 1-cent coin from 1998 turned into one of the biggest finds in the world of numismatics, the study and collection of coins. Before we get into the details, let's first talk about the context of the time. In 1998, people weren't exactly thinking about rare pennies or errors in coin production. The world was more focused on the booming internet industry, the rise of new technologies, and the onset of the digital age. People were dealing with their everyday lives, paying for things with the standard forms of currency they knew best: dollars, quarters, and, yes, pennies. But no one could have predicted that a single penny from this time period would later become the center of attention for coin collectors, investors, and historians alike. The path this coin would take, and the mind-boggling value it would come to possess, is a tale that began in the most unexpected of ways. Let's take it back to when this penny was first minted. It was produced at the United States Mint in Philadelphia, just like millions of other pennies that year. Nothing about it seemed special at first. It was one of those everyday, copper-colored cents that we all recognize. But behind this seemingly ordinary penny lay an extraordinary set of circumstances. This coin, like many others, was supposed to be a simple, functional piece of currency used in transactions across the country. Little did anyone know, however, that this penny would make history in ways no one could have predicted. As time passed, this particular penny made its way through the usual channels of circulation. It passed from hand to hand, dropped into cash registers, collected in the pockets of busy commuters, and added up with other coins in people's spare change jars. It had no way of knowing what was in store for it, and to be honest, no one else had any idea either. It was just another penny, one of billions in circulation. But somewhere along its journey, something incredible happened. In the mid-2000s, a coin collector with a keen eye for detail came across this penny while sorting through a collection of change he had gathered over the years. Most of us would have dismissed the penny as just another ordinary coin. After all, there was nothing particularly special about it, except for one tiny detail. Upon close inspection, the collector realized that the penny was not like the others. It had an error, a flaw that had somehow slipped past the mint's quality control process. But this wasn't just any error. This was a misprint of a kind that was so rare and so unique that it was immediately clear to the collector that this penny was something special. To the untrained eye, the penny still looked like a normal coin. It had the standard 1998 minting date and the usual image of Abraham Lincoln on the front. But there was one major difference: the penny had an engraving error in the center of Lincoln's portrait. This flaw, small as it was, made the coin incredibly rare. Coins are produced through a delicate process where dyes are used to stamp the designs onto the metal blanks. Occasionally, something goes wrong during this process. Sometimes the design is misaligned, or the metal is improperly heated, leading to defects. But the error on this penny was unlike anything most experts had ever seen. After the collector noticed the mistake, he took the penny to a local coin dealer to get a professional opinion. The dealer was stunned. He had never seen anything like it before. The penny's engraving error, while subtle, was so unusual that it instantly became clear that it had to be one of the rarest coins in existence. The dealer was able to trace the origin of the penny back to the minting process in 1998, where an unexpected flaw in the engraving die had led to the misprint. However, the rarity of the flaw wasn't the only thing that set this penny apart. There was something even more extraordinary about this particular coin. It was one of just a handful of such errors ever to be discovered. Word of the discovery spread quickly through the numismatic community, and soon, experts from all over the country were analyzing the coin. More and more specialists confirmed that this penny was indeed one of the most valuable finds in the history of modern coin collecting. Its unique error made it highly sought after by collectors, but there was more to the story. This penny wasn't just valuable because of its rarity, it was valuable because of the story behind it. The tale of how it came into circulation, unnoticed by the public for years, only to be found by a sharp-eyed collector, added a layer of intrigue that made the penny all the more fascinating. As word of the penny's existence spread, interest in it reached new heights. Coin experts and collectors from all over the world began offering large sums of money for it. At first, the offers were modest, only a few $1,000s, reflecting the uncertainty about how much the coin was truly worth. But as the years passed and more information about the rarity of the coin became available, its value skyrocketed. Within a few short years, the penny was being valued in the millions. Still, no one could have predicted the true extent of its worth. By the time 2010 rolled around, the penny had become one of the most highly sought-after coins in the world. It was now valued at an astronomical $627 million, a price that stunned both collectors and investors alike. The penny, once considered just another piece of currency, had transformed into one of the most valuable coins in the history of the United States. To put it into perspective, the value of the penny had increased by over 600,000 times its original worth, turning it into a collector's dream. What made this penny so special? It wasn't just the flaw in the engraving, although that certainly played a major role in its valuation. It was also the fact that it was an anomaly in a sea of ordinary coins. It was one of the few times in history when a seemingly insignificant piece of currency became worth more than any other. Coins like this penny come around once in a lifetime, and for the lucky individual who found it, it was a discovery that would change their life forever. The sale of the penny in 2010 was a momentous occasion. When the penny was finally sold to a private collector for $627 million, it made headlines around the world. People were in awe of the fact that a single penny could hold such incredible value. The buyer, whose identity remains a closely guarded secret, was thrilled to add such a rare piece to their collection. This penny, once tossed aside as a mere afterthought in a pile of change, had become the centerpiece of a collection that would be admired for generations to come. What makes this story even more incredible is that it serves as a reminder of how the world of coin collecting can be full of surprises. Coins that seem insignificant or ordinary can hold hidden value, waiting for someone with a trained eye to discover them. As technology continues to advance and coins become even more intricate in their designs, the possibilities for future discoveries are endless. Who knows what other coins are out there, waiting to be uncovered and valued at millions, or even billions, of dollars. In the end, this story is not just about a penny, it's about the power of discovery, the thrill of the hunt, and the incredible potential for ordinary things to become extraordinary. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes, the smallest things in life can have the biggest impact. For the collector who stumbled upon this penny, it was a moment of pure serendipity, a reminder that sometimes, fortune favors the diligent and the observant. So, the next time you dig through your spare change jar, or find a penny on the street, take a moment to think about this story. You never know, maybe the next penny you pick up could be the one that changes your life forever. And who knows, maybe you'll find a coin worth more than you could ever imagine. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this incredible journey into the world of numismatics. If you loved this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing tales like this one. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled for hidden treasures, and never stop exploring.